Welcome back. As we mentioned, just a little over 100 days until the November election, but everything went out the window on Sunday after President Biden's announcement. Now we're getting the first look at poll numbers right after the president's announcement. Let's bring in our friend Cliff Young, who's from Ipsos Public Polling, up late with me tonight on the Final Five. Welcome back in.
It's great to be here.
How quickly did your crews get out and start getting the pulse of the people after the announcement on Sunday?
We went out the next day, and in a day and a half we had data. We got there as fast as we could.
Yeah, and here we go. So first things first, though, before we get to anything, because this kind of sets up the story. When you've been in every time we talk about economic issues, now this is really what's going to guide a lot of people's decisions. Consumer confidence, where does this figure in?
Yeah, it's the economy. This is the broad context. This is a long sort of arc of many years, right, looking at it. What we're seeing right here is that consumer confidence in blue is ticking up. Mm-hmm. Right, it's been sort of like middling. Yeah. We see the red line is kind of the average, but over the course of the last few months, it's been improving. That's interesting, especially for the Democrats, especially for Harris at this point.
What is, just so people know here, because we hear consumer confidence, we hear about that all the time. What does that really entail? How do you qualify consumer confidence?
Yeah, we use an index of a variety of questions, but what it really measures is people like looking out to the future and thinking, will I have a job or not? Mm-hmm. If I am going to have a job in 6 months, I'm going to go out and buy. I'm going to be like, I'm going to have more purchases in general. Yeah. I'm going to do more things with the economy. If I think I'm going to lose my job in 6 months, I'm not going to spend anything.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about those numbers, because a lot of these started coming out yesterday, and we got to look, first of all, the idea of, I think we had you in here last time, not too long after the debate. It's all run together at this point, Cliff. I could be wrong. I don't know. But
no, that's right. We were here. Yeah. It's hard to keep everything straight.
You were not kidding. Most support Biden stepping down and serving out the rest of his term. Let's talk about these numbers. What do you see here?
Yeah, look, we have a vast sort of consensus that he should step down. So no surprise, or maybe a surprise, but at least from a public opinion standpoint, broad-based consensus that he should step down.
Yeah, this one here, though, because there have been calls by Republicans, because you see this over here, Republicans and Democrats almost simpatico when it comes to the president dropping out. When it comes to serving out the rest of his term, there have been calls from some leading Republicans for him to resign altogether.
Yeah, this is Republican misinformation, misdirection. Ultimately, it's highly partisan. Obviously, we have a huge sort of partisan difference between Republicans and Democrats, but I wouldn't put too much into it.
When you see independents, they're kind of midway through it. Is there any bellwether we can tell from that?
Yeah, the independents typically are the average. They're the average individual, the average American.
When it comes to Vice President Harris serving as Democratic nominee, 89% of Democrats in favor of that.
Yeah, once again, highly, highly political. Republicans don't want that.
Yeah.
They don't want her matched up against Trump, because what we're going to see is that she matches up better.
Yeah, moving on to our next batch here. Vice President Harris's favorability rating. You know, we've heard a lot from Republicans saying that she is one of the most unpopular vice presidents. When you look at certain polling numbers, there is a little bit of a bump, though.
Yeah, but that's not quite true. I mean, she does okay. She's about at the average. And indeed, I think most importantly, over the last little bit, since she's sort of come on the national stage and is being considered the candidate or the heir apparent to Biden, her favorability scores have jumped by 5 points. That's a good thing for her.
This is the first time we've had you on when we talk about J.D. Vance as well, with those numbers right there. What are we telling? I mean, this is notable here in terms of the unfavorables. You really, he is the lowest, but then again, there's a lot of people who don't know a whole lot about him.
Yeah, he's not really well known, and what we're really seeing, this is before the announcement that he'll be vice president, this is after, pre, post, right? And what we're really seeing here is that he's better known, which improves his favorability scores. As we always say, you got to be known to be liked.
Yeah, well, that's true. Let's move on as we talk about the president's departure and the election. These are the numbers that are getting a lot of attention right now. And while you see a little bit of a change, it is still basically a deadlocked election.
Yeah, it's 50-50, at least at the national level. If you look at the swing states, it's a little bit more Trump than not. But overall, it's a better scenario for Kamala Harris relative to Biden. Biden was losing by 2. She was tied here. Yeah. She's up by 2 here.
All right, let's move on to one more as we talk about the vice president outperforming President Biden among some of these independents, as you said, but the youth vote, always important, and there are certain things that energize them. I've been seeing these upticks not just in your poll, but other polls that suggest that maybe this is going
Mm-hmm.
to ignite some excitement that wasn't there before.
Yeah, exactly. This is good for Harris. This is good for the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
She does well with independents, minorities, younger people, less affluent. Those were all the constituency groups, all the demographics that Biden wasn't doing well. And why? Because of inflation.
So this is up. So just to clarify, this is up. This means that she is up 9% from.
This means
from before?
relative to Biden
Wow.
in this demographic group, where does she do better? Where does she do worse? Only with old people, really, does she do worse.
But that's important because still that is a very reliable constituency for people to show up with. But I think what just caught me, I'm not surprised that Republicans are at 0. When I look here, the male 5% better there. Red states 5% better. It is a new game, but the numbers are still pretty much very close.
Yeah, there was a bump.
Yeah.
She's improved because of that bump. Does it hold? That's the real question.
Will there be, I mean, it's early, we have a convention in about a month. I mean, can we expect another bump? I know the Trump campaign has said that she's already seen that and they're expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, expecting this bump right now. And that makes total sense.
Yeah.
We were expecting it as well. Whether she has a convention bump or not, we're not quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
In this world of the highly polarized world, those bumps are smaller.
All right. Well, that is Cliff Young from Ipsos, always coming in here with the pulse of the people. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming
nice
in.
to see you.
And the Final Five is back after this.